The claws of death.
I'm like, I have a water with me right now.
And effort.
If I disappear for a moment, it means that I went to get a water, or I died. One of the two. Brendan will let you know which.
I may just kill him because his voice is going crazy. But you guys saw effort's record up there. He does have a very positive record. I think this is about 60%. He is 0-1, though, so far in this season in Pro League.
Yeah, and ironic thing is that he lost to Zerg versus Zerg, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it did say 0-1, so.
And ByuL is looking unstoppable. Can he get his 5th win? He's the wrecking ByuL. This guy is on fire right now. He's 7-1 in all-time Pro League with 3 victories he was able to secure in previous seasons. And he is the strongest player for IM, bar none. Nobody is looking at this guy and saying, "Oh, I got this. I'm feeling confident." Nobody. He is the ultimate weapon for IM right now. Let's go into the second Zerg versus Zerg between effOrt and ByuL right now.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Up here in the top left of the map, this is on the King Sejong station. This is effOrt representing CJ Entis. And down here, the player he is facing, guy with a lot of hype around him. Like you said before, one of the best players on IM. This is ByuL, the blue Zerg. effOrt in the red.
All right. I've recovered my voice a little bit here. I'm hanging in there. My apologies.
Just hanging by a thread is Wolf.
I'm hanging by a thread.
He's holding onto the rope with one hand. He's about to slip.
I've sent out the cry for help. I've notified production I need water. Somebody I'm sure will bring it to me. It's all okay. I feel fine now. I don't know what happened to me. Something came over me. I had that tickle in the throat, which is as I'm sure some of you might imagine, the broadcaster's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
So
I was watching actually something where you got some peanuts stuck in your throat.
God,
that was like the worst thing I've ever seen.
I love to eat peanuts, especially because they have there's a really good store near the Gom studio that sells peanuts, so I'll buy them off. But occasionally this would cause me problems if I ran out of water, so I had to ban myself from buying peanuts because it just caused me too many problems. I was sad about it, but it was the right choice.
Yeah, you got to be sad about not having those amazing peanuts.
They were amazing. There were salty ones and also sweet ones, and I would alternate them.
Yeah, there was a time I went up there to Castle World of Tanks, actually, with I think tasteless.
Yeah.
And I had some of the peanuts, and they were amazing.
Yeah, they were amazing. I'm just saying, I left them there because I was like, somebody's going to want these peanuts later.
Yeah, I enjoyed them.
You didn't have any throat problems, though?
No, it was okay.
Lucky.
Yep, I'm a lucky guy.
Some guys have all the luck. What we see here is almost mirrored builds. Hatchery first against Hatchery first. A good choice for this map. And we see actually a pool gets dropped first for effOrt, whereas ByuL is taking the greedier build, which gives him a much faster zergling speed, which will give him control of the early game and a lot of important information. And also, if he wants to go for a timing, it could be very scary for effOrt to defend. So he's going to have to react to this. But he's got his own gas, like not too late.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit behind, but like you said, getting that gas before pool allowed you to have basically 100 gas right when that finishes, allow you to start that speed right away.
Oh, look at him up there. He's up on the second floor. You missed him. I saw him.
I was looking at this other monitor. We had them actually switch, so I'm like kind of a little disoriented at what's going on. I'm like waiting for...
Imagine if everything you ever knew was reversed. That's basically what happened to Brendan.
You woke up one morning, your whole building is like totally reversed.
You wake up one morning and your favorite color is no longer red, but it's blue. Imagine that.
I think that did happen to me at some point in life. Where
really?
I liked blue for most of my life, but I'm like starting
one morning
to like red.
You woke up and you're...
I'm starting to like red. It's making a comeback.
For me, like, you can have a favorite food. You can have this sensation of taste and something that you really enjoy, but when it comes to colors, I just don't look at them that way. Like, it's hard for me to pick a favorite color. When I think about colors, I think this looks better than this color in this case. Nice micro by both players, but actually the better trade goes to effOrt.
Yeah, effort just a little bit better in micro in that. Both players drop in a Baneling nest.
You basically have to, especially on this map where there's such a wide open choke at the natural. You could barely even call it a choke because it's really not. It's just a big ramp where you need to make sure that you have Banelings at the top of in case your opponent goes for a timing attack with Speedlings. He sees here there's one Spinecrawler being built, so that's probably going to let him know, okay, I probably don't want to hit a timing. I'll make my own Spinecrawler.
Yep. Both players now just droning up.
This is going to be one of our more passive Zerg versus Zergs. We haven't seen Zerg versus Zerg on this map just yet, and I wonder if, okay, well, there's the Lair and the Roachhorn. So ByuL gets Roachhorn first. effOrt gets Lair before Evolution Chambers. So we will probably see Mutalisk out of him. Nothing else seems to really make sense unless he suddenly adds those structures now.
Those two Zerglings do get taken out before they get into the main base, so he's not going to see whether or not the Lair is coming up.
Yeah, but he does identify the Evolution Chambers,
yep.
which is important. The Roachhorn and the Evolution Chamber, I should say.
Yep.
This is interesting. This map seems like it would be really good for Mutas because the third base is really far away, and the fourth base is also, you know, relatively far away. But you know, when the Mutalisks come out, they're going to want to come over paired with Zerglings to try to force cancel on the third base, kill Overlords, and just in general be very annoying.
We do have the saving grace of Wolf coming in here. Some water.
Yeah, really nice, cool WCG mug too. It looks really cool. I hope I get to keep it. Okay, there's a third base going down for effOrt. Starts that Spire, and he's going to start ramping up his Zergling production because you can't just do this with Mutalisk alone. You spend all of your gas on Mutalisk basically, and then you spend the remaining minerals on Zerglings to come over and harass the base.
Yeah, overall very mobile comp, just allowing you to get a lot of map control and harass a bunch of places. Having these Zerglings coming out now, running across the map, not going to be too difficult for ByuL to hold off. Just going to have that Spinecrawler and those Roaches and Queens. Probably just going to come up here and poke, see what he can see.
Look, we just
maybe
saw,
even see what he can get in that creep turn.
He's going to get that tumor. He's going to try to force a cancel on this hatchery. He's got enough links to do it. There's not enough Roaches yet. He will have to cancel.
Yeah.
He's going to do it the last second. That was actually really beautifully done. And he saves the drone with how late he cancels that. But,
gotta be careful, though. He cancels it again.
Yeah.
The drone is going to go down.
This time he gets a drone. I don't think he saw the Nidus. He has no scout to see the Nidus. And this could be a kind of crazy game where Mutalisk start attacking, and then suddenly a Nidus appears up here at the front, and he goes for a big timing. Having to cancel that hatchery twice means he might even go all in with this. Nope, does start the hatchery.
Does have the hatchery, but also has that Nidus go up. He is putting it out somewhere on the map.
It looks like, is that it over on the right side of the map where an Overlord just scouted it? No? Where is it? Where is that Nidus? Oh!
Wow. Interesting.
He's... Okay, I don't know exactly how the structure of the map works. Okay, so yeah, he can just walk down. I was like, there was some part of the map where he's like stuck up there. I'm like, oh, wow. He's going to hit a timing here at the natural where he can destroy the... these rocks, these debris. And it's a big wide ramp. He is scouted. The second Nidus goes down so he can reinforce even faster. Spinecrawlers are being repositioned right now. They need to actually root, though.
They have to burrow. They have to get there.
This is actually really scary. Here we go. ByuL, the wrecking ByuL walks up the ramp here, starts to attack those Spinecrawlers. They're being rooted currently. Queen's on the back, trying to do some extra transfuse because the Mutalisks here are the only line of defense right now for effOrt.
Doing a bunch of transfusions onto the Roaches. This is a lot to deal with, but a lot more Mutalisks coming out. He is pulling the drones now, trying to go to that third base, but this second hatchery is going to go down, or he can choose to run right into the main base.
Yep, goes on the main base. He needs to have his Queens with his Roaches. Notice he puts the Queens on the ramp to minimize surface area for the Zerglings. The Mutalisks are trying to do anything they can to pick off reinforcements. Wherever the Queens are not, that's where the Mutalisks want to be, because that's how he can actually fight. Does find the second Nidus as well, and this time it's too many Mutalisks, even with transfuses here, which he does not hit. He's got a second Nidus coming up here at the front, but the Mutalisks are just going to make quick work of that. He loses the hatchery. And will he actually... He's not targeting anything in the main base, so I don't think...
He's not targeting too well. He did get that Baneling nest down, but having a bunch of these Roaches are going to be hard to deal with, even if you have a bunch of Mutalisks. These Mutalisks can't be in so many places at once. Those Roaches at the third base as well. Going to do a bunch of damage, take out that queen,
Yeah.
start to take down a bunch of these drones. They're going to have to run away.
I just like to see him target a few drones down here, and that's what he does. So we're going to have to assess the situation, well, Brendan, after this to see who's really ahead, because the better tech definitely goes to effOrt right now. If he... Oh, he didn't actually kill that. His Zerlings didn't find that, or was it remade? Again, I don't have my own absorbing pieces. Sometimes these things are a mystery to me. But this Roach Forest will actually be cleaned up. And again, this is a lot of resources spent by ByuL. That will he get the hatchery? If he gets the hatchery, it pays off, and he doesn't. And that's a huge loss there to lose those roaches without doing that damage.
Yeah, he's going to have to back off there. I mean, at least he was able to take out that second hatchery. With those spines there at the third, they're going to ward off any other roach pressure there. He is getting a bunch of spores down, is ByuL, while he gets the infestation pit up.
You really have to think about opportunity cost in a situation like this, and you have to think about the cost of something like this attack. If you think about how much money was spent by ByuL and all the roaches he lost, you add up all those resources and the time he spent to do that, and then you compare it to the resources lost by effOrt, by having to lose all that mining in the natural by basically operating on 2 bases, it kind of evens out. And that's why we have an even supply here. ByuL has become less and less useful as the game goes on the other hand, especially because ByuL has pulled all of his overlords back. He added a ton of spore crawlers because he knew that the Mutalisk counterattack would occur. Yep. And he's got a tech that's going to be more relevant later on in the game, even added the infestation pit.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Getting that infestation pit is going to be very crucial for him. These Zerglings trying to do a bit of damage. The Roach is also coming over here. Wants to get that queen. Looks like he did manage to get that. Yeah, that queen does go down.
That's a good trade. It's always important to think about when you lose a queen, not the money for the queen, but all the money that the queen...
Yeah.
Well, losing the queen costs you because you lose those injects, you lose the drone production, and you lose the production of units in general. And it's about time, not about money. So even though it was resources-wise, wow, he lost a lot of roaches to do that. Definitely worth it there in that case.
Yep, time is money.
Definitely. Well, that's a famous phrase. I don't know who said that first, but they were right.
I think it was that Gadgetzan Arcsineer in World of Warcraft.
Oh, yeah? Well, as long as I don't run into him in a Miracle Rogue deck, I think he's a smart guy. And I will say good things about him. This is a very opportunistic composition now where he's got to come in here and say, all right, are your queens somewhere else? Okay, I can do damage. They're here? Okay, I got to get out of here. Spore Crawlers. I heard that Spore Crawlers are so strong with the recent buff that they can basically one-shot 2 mutas. That's actually really cool micro with those infestors using the Nidus network to protect them.
That's pretty cool. That's. I mean, he did miss one of the fungals, but these mutas are trying to come in here and take out this Nidus. He does not want that up with all these mutas on the map.
I can't believe he got away with having those mutas there without getting fungled. He got so lucky with that. The Fester control was nice, but then he just didn't hit that fungal.
Very good micro in and out. Just trying to do his best. Adding a Hydralisk then is ByuL.
Yeah.
Wants to get those Hydras in the bag for the extra DPS, as well as the air.
We'll also have Infestor transition coming in right now for effOrt, whose ground army is much, much weaker, but he's trying to build it. He's also trying to keep this ground force of roaches, always able to go in for counterattacks.
Even spreading these guys, forcing the mutas to make a tough decision.
Yeah.
Who wants to kill which Rich?
Yeah. Just making effort think here. Everyone's like, wait a minute, I can also just split my mutas. Let's do that. And the vision on the map definitely goes to effOrt with this Mutalisk composition because he cleaned up all the overlords. And he knows his overlords are safe in the middle of the map, so he has those. Plus the mutas that are flying around that get a lot of vision too. I like effOrt's position in this game. He just needs to make sure that he can make this economy that he's got work for him and continue to deny bases. Shuts down a 4th base here.
That was a weird fungal out of ByuL. You don't usually see that kind of thing out of him. He's usually very concise, going for fungals that will actually hit. Kind of just throwing it at nothing. They were kind of queued up there, and the mutas were able to come in and take out that 4th base in the meanwhile.
Yeah, he's actually going to just try to trade here for infestors. He knows that the Mutalisks aren't really useful anymore in this game, and only gets 1, it looks like.
Yeah, just able to get 1. Very nice transfuses. Able to take out a bunch of mutas. But like you said, those mutas not as worth it as they were earlier on in the game. So just trying to trade. His 4th base trying to get up. effOrt having that 4th base already.
This is a really, really close game. Because the tech is starting to even out a little bit. there's a ton of queens on the ground for ByuL, which are going to be great for defending his bases against Mulus now. But that's a lot of army supply missing when he fights against roaches, because even though queens are good for transfuses, they're not great in a straight up fight, as we're about to find out here. This roach counterattack will probably be shut down as soon as it's identified, but this buys him more time, keeps ByuL's army away from him. Well, here we go. He's going to actually just run up here. The 4th base under attack, but I don't think ByuL realizes this is happening. His whole natural is exposed now, and he's going to probably lose that hatchery. Meanwhile, another counterattack by ByuL. He's trying to take out that 4th.
All these roaches here, this natural is going to be hard to deal with for ByuL, but he is getting a bunch of his forces in at the 4th as well, able to take that out, but he has to clean up these roaches. The infestation pit goes down. That's not good. This queen is going to go down in the main as well as a bunch of those drones.
Yep. He's transfusing to keep his Nidus network alive, which is an interesting target here for effOrt. Not really able to get that hatchery. I think if he focused early on, he could have gotten that hatchery at the natural, but a lot of chaos. You know, the Overlord's all there as well from hiding from the Mulus early on. It's really hard to target. It's hard to see exactly what's going on underneath that big Overlord cloud. But still a decent trade for him. The Nidus continue to be relevant, on the other hand. Now, for a brief time.
Just popping its head out just for a minute. If he gets a nice fungal here, he gets it on so many of those roaches.
That is like the best fungal I have ever seen. And now it's actually a battle of fungals, and we might even see some infested Terrans get dropped here because the roach numbers are dwindling. Here come those infested Terrans. This is so close right now. It's hard to say who's going to take it. Queen's coming from the right side as well. Way more infested Terrans for effOrt, but he drops down in supply, not able to remax because he doesn't have that bank right now.
ByuL has that bank though, and he is going to remax, but with all of those infestors still alive, that's going to be hard to deal with. The roach army of ByuL is going to come in here and try to clean this up, but so many fungals still left for effOrt.
This is what I'm talking about with the queens. They made up a lot of his supply there at the last second. They have so many hit points, but they just don't do a lot of damage. And at the end of the fight, they just sort of fall over.
But look at this, a big roach army right now with the concave on top of the map, but pretty nice fungals so far. He is chaining them, but not enough roaches here for effOrt.
He needs to make sure he actually has those fungals hitting exactly the way that he wants them to, because if he misses one and suddenly the roaches close the gap and trade against 3-4 infestors, it's not something he can afford right now. His mineral count's quite low. He still has a bank and gas, but regardless, doesn't want to lose any of these important infestors. Good fungals here, and with no fungals for ByuL and no infested Terrans to drop, it looks like he's actually going to lose control of the high ground here.
And he might lose it, but a bunch more roaches coming out here. They're going to chase after these infestors, and there's not enough of a ground army here for effOrt. He can continue this chase as he pleases.
I really need to see what the upgrades are here. Nice usage of those rocks. That was actually beautiful, the way he used the rocks for in retreat. This hatchery looks like it may be forced to cancel. It's slow going over here for these two roaches, but they are working on it. The Ursadoc currently just sitting and watching.
Yeah, even just two roaches could possibly take it out. It looks like it may just barely get up.
Wow. It's going to be very low, though, so maybe 4 or 5 roaches could actually attack later on. Our observer really doesn't want to click on any of those roaches or show me the production tab, so I can't tell you guys the upgrades, but... Okay, well, no upgrades being researched currently.
Yeah. Outside of upgrades, though, ByuL with the bigger force, just no infestors.
Yeah, no infestors, and with no infestors, it's hard to make engagements work your way. As we saw in some of the defensive engagements, he had the high ground, he had the concave, so he was able to just already have things set up the way he wanted them to. The way he wanted his roaches to be at the top of the ramp. But when you have infestors, you can kind of control where your opponents are, stop them literally in their tracks of the fungal growth, and then with that prevent them from getting the concave that they want and having their units to the backfire, abuse the range of the Hydralisk.
And right now, ByuL sending a bunch of units over here to the left, just seeing if there's any base over there to the left for effOrt, while keeping a bulk of it over here in the middle, seeing no base over here. Going to come in here at the natural and try to harass. effOrt's going to have to bring some of the units back here, but it doesn't look like he's sending back enough just yet, and this huge force of ByuL is coming over here to this other base.
Oh yeah, this is a really, really strong army, and that base is definitely going down. It's so low from earlier. Can he actually close the distance on it, though? Barely, with just a few roaches, 2 roaches on the right side, kill that hatchery. And this is huge because ByuL has the stronger army. What he needs is time to get those infestors out, but with the constant aggression that we're seeing from him, he's just trading, taking blow for blow where he can, buying time, because if effOrt were constantly attacking him before the infestors are ready, he would be able to dominate the engagements, but it's ByuL who's making the plays. It's ByuL who's going around the map, trying to find the weak points, trying to use his multitasking. The fact that effOrt never sent anything to deal with just those 2 roaches, he just was not on top of that early on, means that's why he lost that hatchery, because if he had defended that earlier, had more hit points, he would have easily defended that base, but with literally 2 roaches that snuck around, he was able to take that hatch out.
Yeah, like you said, ByuL just really, really good so far with this multitasking, being all over the map. We see right now a hive coming out for effOrt. We're going to see what tech he goes into there. ByuL just continuously going for these side attacks, continuously just fighting on his terms, just forcing effOrt to react to him. And having the control like that is always something the winning player will have.
Yeah. That's very well said. Game not over yet, though. This is a game that ByuL is in a pretty good spot in, but it's definitely something that could swing either way. Tech-wise, effOrt is going into hive. He's getting the Overlord speed upgrade right now, which is going to allow him to get a little bit more vision. Never want to walk down into that concave of infestors, or walk up into it necessarily, but the fungals here are beautiful by effOrt. And with a few more locking it down, he might actually take out this whole chunk of ByuL's army. That would basically be a trade for free, while meanwhile, he's able to take out this hatchery to the bottom left, force a cancel on that, and he even sends a few more roaches to go for harass. No cancel.
Yeah, no cancel. ByuL's going to have to come back here and react to this now, losing a bunch of army supply to that really nice fungal chain, sending that infestor back to die for no reason. These roaches coming out here are not going to be enough. ByuL's going to have to send the rest of his force, and that's going to leave his front wide open.
Yeah, these Spine Core is the only line of defense here. A huge move out right now by effOrt on the left side of the map. He's trying to figure out exactly how he wants to capitalize on this. Looks like he's going to go up against the Spine Crawlers, just letting the Hydras tank here. And he just has so many units that he can try to make this work, but a ton of infestors coming in for ByuL now, and now he's the one who gets the great fungals, not only on those roaches, but also the infestors.
Yeah, the infested Terrans coming in as well. The Spine Crawler's doing a good job delaying a lot of this, but you see in supply, he is dropping so far.
Oh, a bunch of infestors go down there to one sick fungal by effOrt. effOrt is dropping in supply, but so is ByuL. The infested Terrans here are going to chase these infestors away. He needs to actually get out of there.
He has to get out of there. effOrt getting like 25 roaches as well. ByuL eventually able to hold this off with the reinforcements. He is chasing, going to try to pick off a bunch of these infestors. He does want to trade this. He wants to get as many as possible. That's 3 so far. Doesn't quite get that 4th one. He just barely stays alive with 1 health.
Yeah, more infestors being made right now for effOrt. He's getting the burrow upgrade as well. It's going to help his roaches regenerate health when they're out of combat. And this is a really good push here, but at the same time, with that defender's advantage, ByuL with a few more roaches might be able to hold. This is still extremely close here. The roach army of effOrt, if he can kill his hatchery, he may be able to secure himself a victory here.
He has a really nice concave as well, and it just looks like even with these infestors burrowed with the Overseer, he is going to be able to pick them off, and it looks like this army of effOrt is just way too strong right now.
He's got the high ground controlled here. He's dancing his units. He will not only kill this hatchery, but probably most of the drones as soon as they are sent away. GG! And effOrt for CJ Intis takes their 2nd victory. CJ will not back down this season. They will not take the last place easily. They are fighting, and they are fighting hard. 2 wins in a row now. Crowd's going crazy. That was a really back and forth ZVZ. That was really interesting to see how effOrt was able to transition out of the Mutalisk, to get those infestors up, and just take the right engagements. His fungals were what won him that game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that one fight where he just chained those fungals on a huge bulk of ByuL's army, able to take down so much of that army supply, really swung it back in his favor. Really, really exciting ZVZ, really back and forth. Couldn't really tell who was going to win the whole game. effOrt